All right, everybody, this is Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson, and I'm coming to you live on a Friday. We call it Fat Loss Friday, and I'm going to talk about going from old habits to new habits. See, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you want to establish habits that are going to help you in the short and in the long term. Now, if you are new to me, my name is Robert Ferguson. I'm a nutritionist. I share because I care. And I like to share information that's going to help you today, not something that you have to wait and do later, but something that can help you today. And oftentimes, where I feel the most satisfaction, if you will, is when I share information that is real information and it puts a person in a position where they become informed, meaning they're less likely to fall prey to people who share misinformation. And there is a ton of misinformation when it pertains to fitness, when it pertains to nutrition, and when it pertains to habits. Seriously. So I want you to think about what I'm saying. They think about all the things that you have heard over the years as far as what is the best way to lose weight. And think about how confident a lot of these people are when they come across and they tell you this is the way. All you got to do this. Hey, go keto, go paleo. And it doesn't matter. I have a lot of friends. And I'm going to call some of these friends stupid, okay? So don't take offense to that. I could back up why I'm calling them stupid. But many of my friends and people that I know and talk to are actually stupid when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to their health, when it comes to like mostly the foods that they're eating. Now, to make that kind of statement, I don't want to come across as a meanie. So let me share with you what I mean by stupid, and then I'll share with you some real good information on how to establish habits that will last, habits that will become like who you are, right? And I won't spend too much time, and I've talked about this before, but I just want to take a moment on a Fat Loss Friday as I share this live to share with you what I consider stupid. Now, I would love your thoughts, right? So, like, I mean, I'm sure you look at some people and you say they're stupid. What, like, how would you define stupid, right? Like, who's stupid? You may think or say, Robert, you're stupid. Okay, just tell me why I'm stupid. I definitely have made mistakes in my life, and I will, I'm sure, make more mistakes. I don't know if I'm stupid or if it's just a mistake, but I'm all ears. Now, when I explain this to my kids, and I've been given the opportunity to share and explain this in live events or seminars that I put on, or when I'm talking to a client, is I'll bring clarity to two words that helps me define who is stupid. And I see this a lot around nutrition. And a lot of people, they look fit on the outside. They walk around and they talk the game, they work out, and they want to be fit, but they're not as fit as they're leading you off to believe. They are not, and many of them are experiencing all kind of gut problems and gut issues and bloating. But when they take pictures on Facebook or on Instagram, you just think everything is going well. Trust me, a lot of these people are my clients. Many of them are celebrities, and I watch them with millions of like followers, and they look the part, and they are talking the talk, and I hear them give advice and all that stuff, and it makes my gut just turn upside down because I know they're lying. They are 100% lying to people. And there's a whole bunch of people I could throw under the bus. Actually, I don't even think it's throwing them under the bus, but I could just put them out there and just say they're lying. You know what I mean? So here's how I define stupid. Okay. Number one is you to understand who is stupid, especially when it pertains to nutrition and weight loss. You must first bring clarity to the word ignorant. Ignorant literally means unaware. So if you call someone ignorant, like when I was a kid, I think my mom would say I was ignorant, and I took it as like dumb. I thought ignorant was dumb as a kid. And one day I was in a class on etymology, the study of words, and I remember looking at ignorant and it said unaware. So ignorant literally means a person is unaware. Okay. So if someone is unaware, they're not stupid. Okay, that's so we got that down. The second word that helps me identify if someone is stupid is the word intelligence. Now, when someone says, "Oh, you're not intelligent," I always thought that that means I'm not smart. But when I looked at the real meaning of the word intelligent, it says the ability to learn. So if you look up intelligent, it basically says the ability to learn. Now, if you have the ability to learn, that means you're intelligent. So most of us, are intelligent. And we could probably say there's levels or degrees of intelligence, but most of us, we could say, are intelligent, right? So ignorant, you're unaware. Intelligent, you have the ability to learn. If I have the ability to learn and then I become informed, once I'm informed, then I'm no longer ignorant. And this is how I define stupid people. If you are informed, and I have friends who I've informed, like I have one friend who has experienced C. diff, a disruption of gut bacteria, could kill you, 4 times. And I've informed him why he got it and why he's, 33% of people who get C. diff once will get it again and then again. And eventually your time will run out and you will die. I shared that with him, so he's now informed. Now, that doesn't mean he was listening, but he's informed because we had a conversation about it. And then it happened again, and then he got shy and didn't want to talk to me about it because he was embarrassed, and then he got it again. Now it's just a matter of time before it's going to get him, and that'll be it. And when he's no longer here, then I'll mention his name, and I'll share that he was just stupid because he became aware. He knew there was a way of eating, but he chooses to eat a certain way because he thinks that's helping him look a certain way. So he's compromising his health just to look a certain way. And then he gives advice to a lot of people about nutrition and health that is not proper advice. And those people are uninformed to know any better. So if he can talk the talk and he's a convincing type of person, they're going to walk the walk. They're going to do exactly what he influences them to do, which is a total, complete opposite of anything I would recommend. And when you watch this, and I'm not just talking about this person, there's a lot of people like this, right? It's those same influencers I'll see on Instagram with 1 million+ followers, and they're talking about gut health. And I'm coaching them, and they got poor gut health. They got poor gut health. They can't even eat. I'm on the phone and they're crying. But yet in front of everyone else, they are just lying. It's unbelievable. And the way you get around that and not fall prey to it is just put on your critical thinking hat. Okay? Put on your critical thinking hat. Because there's way more people who are being hypocrites in the world of nutrition, supplements, and all. They're just hypocrites. If you're being coached by someone, and let's say, or mentored or encouraged to take supplements, right? Use that for instance. And they ever bring up weight loss, but for the last 4 or 5, 6 years, you've watched them gain weight, but yet you continue to listen to them, then I would go up to them because I wouldn't assume anything. And I would say, "Hey, excuse me, can I ask you a question?" And they would say, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I just wanted to keep this private because I've noticed over the last 6, 7 years, you've probably gained looks like you've gained about 50, 60, 70 pounds. And is everything okay? Is there anything I can do to help you?" Because they may have a damaged thyroid. They may be dealing with some type of autoimmune issue. We don't know why they gained that weight. So I wouldn't assume. That's why I would ask them. And then if they say, "No, I'm good, my health is good." Okay. So all the things that you're talking about and post about, you're not adhering to yourself. And if that's the case, that's fine. I mean, I'm good with that. Then you can just have a grown-up conversation and just keep it moving. You follow me? But when we're just quiet about it and we don't call people on it, then they just continue to influence other people, and more people get led down the wrong direction. So anyway, that was just something I just wanted to put out there because it really ties into, if you want to establish real habits that last, it's important to not be stupid. That means you want to be informed, right? You want to be aware. And we all have the ability to learn, unless you have some type of mental health challenge where you can't learn. And there are people who really are challenged with learning, so they don't have the same level of intelligence as you. So all that being said, and before I share with you the habit part, I want to encourage you. We have a food as medicine conference coming up. It's for anybody. Like if you're a nurse, I would recommend you come to this conference. If you're a personal trainer, I would go to this conference. If you're someone who's all about fitness and health, I would go to this conference. Anyone, if you give any kind of advice, if you recommend anything to anybody about health, nutrition, anything, go to the conference so that you understand what food is and how it's medicine. And then you can give clear advice that you know is not going to come back to you. You know, like my friend that I mentioned earlier, he's giving a lot of horrible advice. And a lot of people are suckers for it because they don't know any better. And I don't say that as a sucker just to be mean, but some people really are just gullible and they don't ask questions. They just look for the next shiny object to jump on board. And I'm not about that. It's about the truth. Let's just get down to it and let's give people the power, because as this world continues to move in the direction that it's moving in, food and nutrition is getting more and more confusing. And if you don't want to put yourself in a position to give it good advice to other people, put yourself in a position to give yourself good advice. Like learn instead of just going through motions. You need to learn, and we all need to learn. Okay, here we go. I'll look at Susie. Susie says, boom, call them on it. Hell yeah, I'm going to call them on it. And we need to call more people on it. It's just ridiculous. You go to a gym and I just watch people just talk crap. And just, when I say crap, they're just giving horrible advice. Like horrible. It's mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. So I was motivated to do this quick impromptu. I wanted to do something on Friday. And then I'll come back tomorrow on the Saturday and the Sunday. But I just wanted to share some information with habits. Okay, so let me pull up my little sign here. Okay, old habits, new habits, right? We have those habits that don't help us, and we have habits that we want that will help us. Now, with our Diet for Your Life methodology, and some of you are probably new to this, we have a way of derailing a person, right, from what they are currently doing, right? And that can happen with a keto diet. So if you put someone on a keto diet, then that person would jump on the keto diet. It's different than what they were doing. So you derailed what they were doing, okay? Now, we teach nutrition with our methodology, and that's why I like this conference. We're going to have food as medicine, because whether you're one of our coaches or you're just someone else, at least, know what's real and what's not, right? Now, I also know that most people can't just change their entire environment to support their choices, right? If you're married to someone who eats horrible or they don't really care and you're trying to eat a little differently than them, it can make it a little challenging. However, we also know that small little changes is what is necessary to alter behaviors. So it's important to know that. And it's also important to know that habits are not formed in 21 days. When I created my first big national program, I had this thing called a 21-day metabolism makeover. And I had the metabolism makeover for years before that. But this was based on 21 days. And the reason why we went with 21 days is because of perceived understanding. Most people just assumed it was all about 21 days to create a habit. And I used to cringe when I talked about it, because I knew that it's not a canned approach. To create a habit is not guaranteed in 21 days. Okay, it's different. And then there are studies out there, and one of the studies that I'm referencing right now, it was clear that it takes anywhere from 15 to 254 days to form a habit. And with our methodology, the way we teach food, if you do our program the way we teach it, whether it's me or any of our coaches, or you just do our 8-week challenge or anything like that, every time you make a meal, you're creating Okay, the habit that you want, and is being reinforced with each and every meal. So if a person ate 3 meals a day in 30 days, that's 90 meals. You got to practice and reinforce a habit that you really want 90 times. So imagine if I'm working with someone for 10 months, right? So on average, that's going to be about what? 900 practices. If you practice something 900 times, you're going to be pretty good at it. But this is what I've learned. Many of the people would be on a program for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they'll say it's their habit. And then next thing you know, it's no longer their habit. So let me give you an example. If, like, would you say that it's a habit to brush your teeth every morning? Can someone answer me on that? If you're catching me live, would you say it's part of your habit to brush your teeth every morning? Somebody give me a yeah, amen, yes. I would say that that's a habit. Like, and I know this, when people travel, they take their toothbrush with them. It's a habit. When people like go over to a friend's house, they'll take their toothbrush with them. It's a habit. When people wake up in the morning, at one point they're going to brush their teeth. It's a habit. Well, how the hell did that become a habit? Why is it that I'm going to eat some cookies tonight? Why is it that I'm not going to make a fat burn? You know what I mean? Like, how do we get off? Like, you don't get off from brushing your teeth. So how did you get to that point? That has everything to do with what we call context-dependent cues. And it's these cues that trigger new patterns of eating, right? So a context-dependent cue is basically a reminder of what to do next. So my kids, from the time they were born, they brushed their teeth. That was the beginning. And then that becomes a cue. When I brush my teeth, that's the cue to floss my teeth. They don't brush their teeth without flossing because it's linked together. I can't even imagine them not flossing. Like, if there's no floss sticks or floss, something's wrong. Something's off. That is a real habit for them. Okay. When you go and do number 2, it's a habit with toilet paper to clean yourself. Now, yes, you want to like be clean. And a lot of times cleaning yourself with the toilet paper is the setup, it's the cue for washing your hands. Not everybody has that habit. There are people, because I see it at LAX and in airports all over the country. I've watched guys come in there with their kids, go to the urinal, and just walk right out. Then that little boy did not, that could have been the cue for washing your hands. Son, if you go do number 1 or you go do number 2, wash your hands. That's a cue. That's the habit. Create the link, create the chain. So with us, when you make a fat burning meal, we have context dependent cues tied into it. You ask 2 questions. Boom. Where's my protein? That's the cue. That's the context dependent cue to how I'm going to eat my carbs. We have fast carbs and slow carbs. This creates the behavioral change. Every time you do it, like going to the restroom, number 2, number 1, wash yourself, wash your hands. That's a habit. I brush my teeth, I floss, that's a habit. I put protein on my plate, I follow with my fast carbs, slow carbs, blah, blah, blah. That's a habit. And once you have real habits, meaning you're not fighting it, then you can live with it. And what do I mean by fighting it? And then I'll say goodbye. Check this out. You get a little kid and you're wanting to implant these habits. The kid does number 1 or does number 2 and doesn't wash his hands. Right? So the context dependent cue is they use the restroom. Number 1, number 2. That's the setup to wash the hands. Some kids are rushing. They want to go play. So they may go do number 1, number 2, and just get up and just go right out. But we watch over them. Hey, no. Wash your hands. Hey, did you wash your hands? Sometimes they'll lie to you. Come here, let me touch your hands. I remember doing this with my kids. Let me smell your hands. You did not wash your hands. Get back in there and wash your hands. So as a coach and accountability, I'm helping a client get back to that. So as coaches, we must like go, okay, when a client says this, oh yeah, I didn't have any carbs this week. It's important as a coach. And for those of you who don't understand the methodology, I apologize, but we have fast carbs and slow carbs. Okay. All plant-based foods are carbs. So sometimes you'll have someone who's not reinforcing the methodology to be a habit, and they'll say things like, oh yeah, I didn't have any carbs this week. You must stop them and say, no, 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 no. Same as a kid running out of the bathroom without washing their hands. No, 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 no. You did have carbs. You had slow carbs. What you're saying is you didn't have fast carbs. Oh yeah, yeah, I didn't have fast carbs. And it's important to get them to say that. Otherwise, you're not reinforcing the methodology to become habitual. And if you let them slide there, because I hear it with clients I talk to, I've been coaching for a while, and they'll say, yeah, I didn't really have many carbs this week. No, you didn't have many fast carbs this week. You had carbs, you just didn't have many fast carbs. There's fast carbs and there's slow carbs. And it's very important based on the cueing, right? And the signaling that we are like creating, the whole way of them eating. And after a short period of time, the ones who call it out for what it is, protein, fast carb, slow carb, protein, slow carb, slow carb. When they use words to identify what they're eating, that reinforces everything psychologically. And now you have a much better chance of creating the habit. So you want context-dependent cues built in, and then consistency. When you get a consistent string of days behind them, an application of doing it, somewhere between that 15 to 254 days, the habit is formed. Woo! You guys know that was good. That was good. I mean, I did an impromptu and I'm like, man, that was actually a good share. Because whether you're with us and the Die Feel Like methodology, working with a coach or not, or maybe you're a client, if you really stay with me and listen to what I just said, that helps you out a lot. And it will help you create habits. Like, I don't have a habit of eating cookies. I've never had one. Some people have, and that's why they keep going back to it, because they feel like something's missing. And unless they purposely, with true, diligent focus, choose not to eat some of those things that they don't want part of their habit, until they do that, that old habit is going to come back. It's like the kid who didn't really learn to wash his hands afterward. He knows it's the right thing to do. He gets it, but oftentimes he won't do it. And maybe he'll do it in the house because the wife made a comment, hey, did you wash your hands? I didn't hear any water in there, right? And I know you just were in there. And then they'll lie. Oh, yeah, of course I wash my hands. All right, come here. Do it with an adult. I want to touch your hands. I want to smell your hands. People aren't washing their hands, you guys, because it's not habit. Some of us are like, oh, that's disgusting. I could never do that and not wash my hands. Exactly, because it's a habit. You want to create habits. And I could go into great detail, but when we do our training, like even food as medicine, we have like a really cool 10-minute exercise where we show you how to take a habit you don't want and how to replace it with a habit you do want. And in doing that, and then being consistent, right? And everybody's different. Let's say 15 to 254 days, and it could be longer, who knows? Then the habit gets formed. And then it becomes who you are, right? It's like some people make it a habit. They kiss their wife before they go out the door and go to work. It just becomes a habit. And then that morning, they put on a cologne that they haven't really worn, or it's a new cologne, and they don't kiss the wife. So she's like, wait a minute, something's weird. And she starts thinking about it. Wow, he didn't even kiss me this morning. And that was part of both of their habit. And he's wearing a cologne. Wait a minute. Something's good. You see what I mean? When you have disruption will create that break in the habit. right? It's kind of like if a kid, and I'll end on this, brushes their teeth and then they just quickly like go and eat or have candy even before they brush teeth, then they're probably not going to brush their teeth. And then they'll wait until their teeth just don't feel good, feels dirty, and then they'll brush it because they don't like the discomfort they're experiencing. It's no longer the habit, it's more of they're more reactive and no longer proactive, right? Because habits are a proactive thought or a proactive action. When it's not habitual, when it's not a habit, but you end up doing it, it becomes more reactive. So there you go. All right, you guys. I am Robert Ferguson. Thank you for letting me share. And if you came here toward the end, I strongly recommend you listen to the whole thing because I share some really good nuggets. And I just want you guys to live your best and healthiest life. We do have some big things coming up. I'm going to do that free online seminar on cholesterol truths because this is a big, big deal. And it's just one of many things that we'll touch on in the Food as Medicine conference that comes up in October. And I want to encourage you, if you know friends, encourage them to go because it's like going to a seminar, right? It's a weekend conference. It's a Friday, Saturday. Our schedule will be made available next week. So you'll be able to like know exactly what time it starts, what time it ends. The good news, you don't got to get on a plane. You don't got to rent a hotel. You don't got to be traveling, spending money in hotels. You can actually learn and get. And then afterward, because this is our inaugural one, everyone's going to get free access to all the material for the life of this program. Meaning we're going to make it where you can like go back and you say, man, I like when Robert was interviewing, that guy about, exercise. I like when that one doctor was talking about, this or that, or like, some doctors talking about the gut microbiome. It's like, wow, I want to go back to that. And all the notes and everything will be there so you can go back there for refreshers. Okay. In the future, what will happen is that you go to a live conference, and if you want all of that, then you have to pay an extra fee. That's how it normally works. I'm not doing that with this first inaugural conference. Only this one will we make it where it's all inclusive. Same as the certification. Usually you have to pay a fee for the certification. We're just throwing everything in there because I want people to know. And I want this one to be a good one, and I want to kick it off right. So if you're hearing this early or before the dates, the inaugural price is way better than the next price. But even if you sign up, before 30 days close to the event, you'll still have a significant savings. Okay. So anyway, I'm Robert Ferguson. Thank you for listening. If you want to learn more, go to any of the links we have provided. And also you can go to dietfreelife.com. If you got questions, reach out to us because part of our outreach is to share. And we do that because we care. Have a good weekend. Until the next one,